Here's the Fade 5 podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, you jackwagons. Brad the Big Noise Evans here, joined by the good son Nathaniel Lundy. 'Tis indeed the Fade 5 podcast presented by Suavecito Tequila. And raise a toast and start off the weekend right with a little sip of the añejo. Provided by Suavecito. And Lundy, a lot at stake for a number of teams in the NFL in terms of jockeying for position in the playoffs, or frankly, just making it to the second season. So with all of that in mind here in NFL Week 18, what is your favorite pick to click beside total, player prop, or maybe get spicy with a parlay?
The first team to 3 is going to win between Houston and Indianapolis. Folks, I am hammering the under in that game, which currently sits at 38, and believe it or not, is only a minus 105. That's it. Houston wants the number 1 overall pick. Both of these offenses are awful. Okay? Look, I mean, the Colts have gone through Matt Ryan, Nick Foles. Now we get Sam the Man on Sunday. Where are the points, people? Where are the points going to come from? It might be my favorite bet of the weekend because so much of this crap you can't predict, especially when you've got teams that are playing for absolutely nothing. But Brad, I'm serious. Who's going to do anything other than maybe a kicker, and maybe like a pick six? Is anything going to happen in that game to put points on the scoreboard? Hell no.
I just hope that Lovie Smith does the Bears a strong favor and gets the W, so the Chicago Bears can go out there with Nate Peterman, who's going to throw for at least 5 INTs against the Vikings and score the number 1 overall pick. That's all I'm hoping for. But yeah. You make some astute points.
Yeah, it's just, I'm sorry. Even if Lovie Smith does you a solid, the final score might be 9-7. I mean, this is going to be a shit-tastic game on Sunday. Play the under on the 38. Now, that said, I mean, yesterday we got effed by the NHL and we lost. And so don't listen to me. I'm an idiot.
Well, I had a good night of college basketball. If you listened and watched the Fade 5 broadcast yesterday, I went 4 for 5 on the Fade 5. So it was a fruitful night, and way to go, Buckeyes. And that coffin corner pass late in the game when you're up 1, you're about to get fouled. Calls a turnover. Purdue took advantage and ultimately salted that sucker away. But I tell you what, I got a motivational parlay play in the NFL this weekend with so many teams with that proper motivation to get, maybe a higher position in the postseason or just to get into the postseason. So on this 4-legger, all money lines, give me Kansas City. They're vying for the number 1 overall seed. You're going to need a little bit of help. But with a Buffalo loss, though, they could get it with a win. They take on Las Vegas. They're only beat by un punto back in week number 5. But Jared Stim's got to trot out there, I think, really show his true colors this week. Leg numero 2, give me Jacksonville. Must-win situations. Winner gets in. Loser goes adios amigos onto a beach somewhere in the Caribbean for a early vacation. And they did beat the Tennessee Titans 36-22 back in week 14, and I think they're going to replicate that effort. Leg number 3, give me Cincinnati, who is trying to lock up their division in the AFC North, and obviously all the repercussions over the last few days. They get the Baltimore Ravens, so a rivalry game, and it's one where they could play the revenge game narrative as they lost in week 5, 17-19, but I think they're going to exact that revenge in this one. And then the last one, Green Bay. You win, you get in. You face the Detroit Lions. You clinch a playoff spot. If you take down maybe the Hello Kitties, if they resurface. However, you did lose 15-9 to Detroit and the Motor City back in week number 9. So Kansas City, Jacksonville, Cincinnati, Green Bay, 1, 2, 3, 4, mi amigos. All 4 of those legs hit. It's plus 212 at BetMGM right now, and I'd like that motivational parlay play.
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to screw you on that one.
Really?
Yep. I think you're going to get hosed. I think this Green Bay team has been a facade for the last few weeks. I really do. I think they are actually more like the team at the beginning of the year than they are the team we've seen the last few weeks. That's I just got a bad feeling about that game. There are so many other things I would rather make the fourth leg of your barstool there than that Green Bay game. I do not trust it at all.
Well, hopefully Aaron Rodgers will not royally screw me, but I am a Bears fan, and he's been doing that to me his entire career.
He owns you guys. Have you heard? He owns the Bears.
Yeah, he owns us, sadly. Just retire already. On that note, let's get after it with another edition of the Fade 5.
Number 5.
All right, Lundy, for some reason, you're a little bit choppy on your video feed to me. I think you're on a 14.4 28.8 connection in my estimation. Hopefully this individual will not be such on a low Wi-Fi connection of his own, and that is Chig Okonkwo. I'm taking the over on 2.5 receptions, and it's at plus money, plus 135. Gets seduced by that juice at DraftKings. Why am I tailing Chig Okonkwo again? Well, he has cash on this in 5 of his last 6 games, and he's played at least 40% of the snaps in all those weeks except for one, and that was last week. And I think that was an anomaly. He only played on 25.8% of the snaps against the Dallas Cowboys, but he still hit the over because Dobbs found him early and often in that game, and it could be the same sequence of events the second time around. With Dobbs last week, 4 targets, 3 catches, 24 yards. Those were all in the first half. Week 14 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, he had his best receiving yards and receptions game of the season. He was targeted 6 times, caught 5 balls for 45 yards. And on the year, the Jags are giving up 4.7 receptions per game to the tight end position. So in a must-win scenario, Dobbs to Okonkwo, because you know the defense is going to be keen on Derrick Henry in this game. They're going to try to force Dobbs airborne. I think cash is on the over. 2.5 receptions, plus 135 at DraftKings. Lundy, fade or follow?
I'm in only because of the plus odds. That's got me in this one in terms of the 2.5. I agree with you about the overall game flow in this one. I think Jacksonville gets out to a lead somewhat early, and then we're seeing Tennessee chasing. So I'm going to play it because I like the plus 135, but this one might be, we're pitting out. We're pitting out, man. We might be sweating late.
Yeah, add another layer of Old Spice. Okonkwo, please hit the over.
Number 4.
Numero cuatro. Let's try to chase some history and some dollars in the process. Let's do a same game parlay. Give me Patty Mahomes, 370 plus pass yards in Kansas City on the money line in a game in which they must win if they have any chance of securing the number 1 seed in the AFC, taking on Vegas. Both of those events occur. 370 plus for Mahomes and Kansas City on the win, plus 300 at DraftKings. So the juice are very seducing on this one. You look at Mahomes. He's been over 400 yards in 2 games this season. He needs 430 to break Peyton Manning's single-season passing yards record, which stands at 5,477 yards, and he snapped that back in 2013. Week 5, guy that went for 43 attempts and 292 yards against the Raiders. And again, those pair of 400-yard passing performances came against San Francisco and the Tennessee Titans. So it's not unfounded. It's not baseless. He could certainly get there. It's not like they're running a whole lot this season, although Pacheco has started turning on here the last 5-6 games. Vegas on the year, giving up 7.31 pass yards per attempt and 257.3 pass yards per game. But Mahomes is the money man, in my estimation, resets the record books, and Kansas City, as a result, gets the W. So on this SGP, you're going to come with me, 370-plus pass yards, and Kansas City on the money line at plus 300. Ooh, very enticing there, Lundy, at DraftKings. Fade or follow?
I'll follow you on this one, but you know what, Brad? Forget it. It's week 18. I need you to grab your cojones with me, all right? And I want you to actually make some damn money. I'll one-up you on this one. I'll one-up you. At FanDuel, 400-plus yards, Kansas City money line. Oh, go get me a Slurpee. It's plus 711.
Oh, baby. Oh, that is delightful, delectable, delicious.
So at DraftKings, there is not an option for you to go that high, at least as of right now. Maybe they will decide they want to do it because he is chasing history. But FanDuel, as of this morning, as we record this on Friday morning, 400 plus is an option at FanDuel. If you take him at 400 plus and add in Kansas City on the money line, like I said, let's get a Slim Jim, maybe a Monster Energy drink and a Slurpee, plus 7-11.
Oh, baby, that is very enticing. Do it for all the 7-Eleven snacks.
Number 3.
All right, numero tres here on the Fade 5. Let's go to the Saturday special, and I'm going to take the over on Trevor Lawrence, 1.5 passing touchdowns at a tape time. The best juice in the industry, minus 130, still juiced up a little bit, but still viable in my opinion, available at BetMGM. Now, Lawrence only quarterback 16 in red zone completion percentage this season, and he has just 4 multi-TD performances under the belt this year, but one of those efforts came against the Tennessee Titans, who he's going up against. That was in week 14. He threw for 3 passing touchdowns. We know that Tennessee's primary weakness is defending the pass. They've allowed 7.41 pass yards per attempt, 294.9 pass yards per game, and 28 passing touchdowns to signal callers this season. 9 times have gone for at least 2 passing touchdowns against them. Lawrence, with everything on the line and those long, flowing, gorgeous blonde locks, get it done and add a little boost to my bankroll. So Lundy, fade or follow, T-Law over 1.5 passing touchdowns, minus 130, available at BetMGM.
Last 8 games, my man, 14-2. That's his touchdown to interception ratio. Anybody else think Urban Meyer was screwing him over? Because I do. It's nice to see him actually get to flex what I thought was an extremely talented arm when he came out of college. I think he got hosed by the fact that he had a shit coaching staff there with him at the beginning. Now he's got one that takes care of him, builds an offense around him. I'll take him for the 2 passing touchdowns as, sunshine, getting it done with the hair. Brad, you've kind of got an obsession with people with good hair.
Because I desperately want it. And I also want this overhead. Do it for me, Trevor Lawrence. I'm bald.
Number 2.
All right, let's go to another favorite of mine here of late because it has been a caching covering machine. Isiah Pacheco, give me the over on 9.5 receiving yards, just minus 115, available at DraftKings. Some of the books a little bit higher on this line at 10.5, but I still think wherever you play this, he's going to hit the over because he has done this easily. His cruise pass it in 6 straight games, guy that is averaging right around 10 yards per reception. So it's pretty close to a single play payday. 8 to 12 routes run per game. Jarrett McKinnon is the main man as a pass catcher out of the backfield for Kansas City. But Pacheco, when he gets his number called, he's a fall forward guy. He's a violent back. He runs and plows through initial lines of contact. And that's why he's hit this over in 6 straight. And that's why he's been a featured player as a receiver down the home stretch. And again, Vegas. 6.1 receptions, 51.7 yards allowed per game to receiving running backs. 24 guys have hit the over against them this season at the running back position in this category. And I know Pacheco only had 1 touch for 0 yards, but that matchup was way back in week number 5. And he's a guy that the Chiefs are certainly leaning on here in the cold weather weeks. So Lundy, fade or follow, Isiah Pacheco is going to make us some pennies here on the over, or at least me, 9.5 receiving yards, minus 115 at DraftKings.
If Mahomes is going to try to do it, he's going to throw it to everybody. He might try. He might send Andy Reid on a go route. Okay, that could legit happen. Just breaking through the wall like the Kool-Aid man. Just send him down there and just drop a dime to him. Or more importantly, he'd like behind the back with his eyes closed, throw it to Andy Reid. Yes, I'm serious. I like so many of the receiving yards props because if Kansas City does want to try to give him the opportunity to get that 430 yards to break Peyton Manning's record, he's going to be throwing it all over the field. And I think they wind up just embarrassing the hell out of Josh McDaniels and Vegas.
Tail the detonation for Patrick Mahomes with Pacheco.
Number 1.
All right, numero uno here, NFL Week 18 and the Fade 5. Let's go back to the SGP/OGP well, and these juices, these waters are going to be quite replenishing. Give me Najee Harris, 60-plus rush yards, and let's correlate, synergize, bring it all together. If I think Harris is going to get there, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, who got to win, and they need some assistance elsewhere to get in, but they have a chance, also get the victory. So Harris, 60-plus rush yards, Steelers money line, plus money, plus 115 right now at BetMGM. You look at Najee Harris, week 3, when he went up against the Cleveland Browns, who he's facing this week, 15 carries for just 56 yards, but he was still fighting through some of the Liz Franck setbacks and recovery that he was dealing with at that time. Of late, he has been the workhorse, the Clydesdale, the Stallion, getting up, hitting at least 60 yards on the ground in 5 of his last 7 games. Yeah, he's an unsightly RB 43 yards at contact per attempt on the season, but 46 rush attempts in total here in the last couple of weeks. And you know that Cleveland has just been forgiving on the ground the entire season. The Brownies surrendering 5.09 yards per carry, 125.1 rush yards per game. They've also yielded 14 60-yard rushing yard, running backs on the year. So, again, tally it all up. Najee Harris going to get nasty for at least 60-plus rush yards. And Pittsburgh maybe sneaks in a postseason, but they will do what they have at their control, at their advantage, and get the victory. Both those events occur, plus 115 at BetMGM. Fade or follow.
Oh, man. Could you see Steelers screwing this up, though? I mean,
Well,
I know that. I know there's the formulas, and it's it's like Rain Man trying to figure some of this stuff out. We're counting cards, and so most of you would make some sort of Hangover reference. I'm too old. I make Rain Man references. So I like the Najee Harris part of it, Brad. I frankly just don't trust Pittsburgh. I think that's actually what it is. So I might try to dig around within that game, find myself another player prop stat line that I could put in there instead of the Steelers money line. So I like the Najee Harris side. I don't like the Steelers side. How's that for getting splinters in my ass and riding the fence with you?
Well, on Fade the Noise with Brandon Funston, we usually cue the Vaseline by Stone Temple Pilots when we're sitting on the fence because we wanted to go in easy, gentle, and that's the best way to go about it.
Look,
Have that play in your head.
I understand that you're in a good mood because of your college basketball picks last night, but I need you to pump your brakes there, man. Slow your roll, Brad.
Hey, I'm all about adventuring here in 2023. On that note, let's get after it. It's bonus time. Lundy, pick up a backpack, some protein bars as well, and walk through the jungle with a machete and cut through some of these wagers. Speaking of adventuring, what do you like, whether on the docket tonight or this weekend?
Let me continue. We've talked a lot about this Jacksonville game. Let me throw a couple more picks for you out there that I like for this game tomorrow. Here's a same game parlay for you. Jacksonville on the money line. Trevor Lawrence 230 or more through the air, and Zay Jones to have at least 40 of those receiving yards. If you put all of that together at DraftKings, that one comes out to be a plus 130. 40. Part of the reason that I like Zay Jones, Brad, our buddy Jared Smith over at Pickswise has been tracking a lot of these things, the various player incentives that are to be earned here down the stretch of the seasons. Zay Jones is 2 receptions away from a $250,000 bonus. Now, he needs 98 yards to get to his next yardage threshold, but only 2 catches gets him another $250,000. Folks, quarterbacks know this stuff.
Yeah.
They know who to take care of down the stretch to make sure these guys hit their incentives. So that's why I like Zay Jones in that one. But I also want to throw another one out there for you. Take the over on Evan Ingram at 49.5 receiving yards. Over at FanDuel, it's up to 52.5. But at DraftKings, you can still get it at 49.5. I'm playing the over there because Evan Ingram is 61 yards away from a $200,000 bonus. So give me both of those. That's why Zay Jones is built into my same game parlay, and that's why I like Evan Ingram by himself on the over at 49.5. I want to go to the NHL for tonight. Give me a 3-leg alt total. So I need all of these games to have 5+ goals, and the payday will be a plus 127 at DraftKings. Tampa and Winnipeg, Arizona and Chicago, San Jose and Anaheim. The one I'm slightly worried about there is Arizona and Chicago, because if you look at their 4 matchups that they had last season, the totals were 7, 5, 10, and then 3. So it's possible for them to sneak in underneath, but I actually think it's going to be more like those other games. Both of these teams struggling in terms of their blue line, their defense, not exactly getting the job done, shall we say. And, wait, I missed one in the Jacksonville game tomorrow. Travis Etienne. Brad, give me the over on 9.5 yards for his longest catch.
Oh, good call.
9.5 yards, his longest catch. He's been over in 4 out of his last 5 and 6 out of his last 8. And in that Week 14 game that you talked about against Tennessee, Brad, goose egg, no catches in that game. So I say he bounces back, winds up with the catch. Give me the over on the 9.5. You're going to pay a little bit of juice. It's a minus 120 right now at DraftKings, but I think it's worth it. I yield the floor to you, good sir.
Yeah, I might actually parlay that on an OGP with Evan Ingram because it's all about the incentives with Ingram, and really it's all about the incentives with some of these additional selections I have in the NFL. If you also like another player in that game who's chasing some money, $500,000 to be exact, it's Christian Kirk. And he needs 91 yards to get that, and I like the over on 57.5 receiving yards. Could absolutely destroy this number. He only had 5 for 45 in the Week 14 matchup against Tennessee, but he had the 7 targets. I think he's going to see a similar workload, splitting time between the slot and outside. He lines up in the slot 51.9% of the time. He's been top 15 in yards after the catch this season, top 25 in yards per route run, and all the 56.5 number, he's hit it on the over 9 times. So he'll get a mixture of Fulton, who's allowed 100-plus passer rating, and Hooker, who's allowed a 76% catch rate between those two DBs. Pink one, again, where he lines up in the slot or outside. But I think Kirk, needing that 91 yards to get that contract incentive, will hit the over on 57.5 receiving yards. Elsewhere in the NFL, give me Jerick McKinnon on an anytime touchdown, plus 125, available at DraftKings. The guy's been a touchdown machine, 8 TDs. In fact, in his last 5, if Patrick Mahomes is going to go off, which we fully expect he will, he's going to spread the love. He's going to check it down, and often he'll probably check it down to McKinnon. It doesn't matter if it's in the red zone. It could be at the 50-yard line. The guy has wheels for days and really scoots his way, and I think he will do exactly that to the end zone. The Las Vegas Raiders have allowed 4 receiving touchdowns to running backs this season and 17 running back touchdowns in total. All right, let's go to the world of college basketball and give you some action on this Friday. Very light slate, Ivy League heavy, and we're going to go to the Smarty Pants of the world. Give me the over in the Cornell-Penn game. I grabbed it 154.5. It's all about contrast of styles in this game. Cornell's at home. They play up-tempo, number 41 in the country. Penn, a much slower team at number 247, but both mirror images offensively And also defensively, Cornell, number 14 in the nation effective field goal percentage offense. Penn, very respectable, number 67 in that category. And you look at us as well, Cornell, a team north of number 200 and adjusted defensive efficiency. You look at Penn, well north of 200 as well, and adjusted defensive efficiency. Both teams share the sugar extraordinarily well, high up there in assist field goals made. So the offenses should be clicking as long as Cornell dictates pace, and I believe they will at home, and keep this up tempo. I think this game's got a shot to be played in the 80s, and it's also got a shot for overtime where all over bets go to live. And the unders, of course, go to die. So I like Cornell Penn on the over 154.5. And let me give you one NBA play. Bam Adebayo over 21.5 points against the Phoenix Suns. A guy who's been tearing it up. He scored at least 30 points in 3 straight games. He has gone over this in 5 straight games. He's got over 21.5 in 7 of his last 8 games, as a matter of fact. Here, this last couple of outings, shooting 59.5% from the field. He went for 30 points against the Suns back on November 4th. And Phoenix, yeah, I know they're number 11 in defensive rating, according to NBA.com here the last 10 weeks. But Bam Adebayo is just scorching white hot. Ride those tailcoats all the way, hopefully, to a victory. And that is a wrap on this edition of the Fade 5 podcast. Do us a favor, drop us a rating and a review right now if you enjoy this broadcast. And also follow Lundy at Nate Lundy on Twitter. All of his picks are free there on his spreadsheet. Watch You Bet tonight as well. You can see his beautiful face, and it won't be nearly as choppy as it was today. I don't know what the hell happened. You can watch me on Live on the Line. And I'm sorry if you do, because I am hideous looking in nature. But you can also follow me on the Bird Box at Noisy Huevos. All of my picks and my free and always accessible spreadsheet is there. Until next time, enjoy NFL Week 18. Enjoy the action across the smorgasbord of sports. Good luck in your bets. And as always, feed or follow. That is up to you.